Okay, so if I was to start all over again, how would I go from $0 to $1 million? Now, a little bit of a backstory. When I was 17 years old, I'm 27 now, I set up my first company and things started to go pretty well, pretty quickly. The company was a success. I made pretty decent money for an 18, 19, 20-year-old, and things came tumbling down when I was around 22, 23 years old. And I had to start again from scratch. I went from being a childhood superstar to being a failure. I was this like wonder kid to literally being this failure who had to work out a way of where he was going to go next. And it was at this time in my life where I had to start from zero, if anything, less than zero. And I took a path that I think anyone can take, because I was in a worse position than anyone starting out right now. Like I said, I was suffering massively with imposter syndrome and dealing with the failure of my first business. And I, like I said, had less than zero. So for me to go from there to where I am today is a very simple path. It's one that I had to work out myself, but I feel like because I've been through it, I know how to break it down in a very simple way. So if you are someone that's sitting there thinking, how do I get out of my 9 to 5? How do I escape the rat race per se? Then this is what you're going to need to do. And just for a bit of context, I now have a company called Magnet. We are Web3's growth engine. We've worked with dozens of top crypto projects in the last 3 years, helping them to launch and grow. That's the path I took because in those difficult times, I looked at crypto. I'd already been investing in crypto from my previous business. So I was already kind of in it, and I decided that now I needed something new to do. I was going to jump in full time into crypto. You don't need to do that. You need to do something that you're passionate about. But I'm just giving you the example of what happened for me. I felt like I was passionate about crypto. I wanted to jump in there. So step one is work out what you're actually passionate about, what it is that you want to create change in. What industry is it? You might love pets, for example, and you can go from $0 to $1 million in the pet industry quite easily. You might love travel. Again, you can go from $0 to $1 million very quickly by traveling the world, right? So whatever that industry is, that's the first thing that you need to decide. And then you're going to apply the framework that I'm going to go through now once you've realized what it is that you want to do. And my final point on there is you might not know right now what exactly it is that you want to do, and that might change. When I had my first business, I thought that the world of finance was my calling and that I wanted to be this super successful kind of city guy. And I realized that that's not actually who I am. I love emerging technology. I love being on the forefront of development, and I want to make a difference in this world. And I had to learn that the hard way. It took 5 years to do that. So I'm hoping it doesn't take you as long, but the point is just dive into what you feel is right for you now, apply this framework, and as you go through your journey, this can always change at a later date. Okay, so the first step, once you know what it is that you want to do, is you have to start freelancing or consulting. What I mean by this is that a business will pay you to do a specific service for them. And you can do this from your laptop. You can do this from anywhere in the world. So an example, let's say that you're really interested in pets. Let's use that as the example, right? You might then pick a skill set that a pet company might need to utilize. So a very in-demand skill set, something like marketing or graphic design or development, being a developer. These are all skill sets. These are 3 examples. There's a lot of things out there. For me, I loved growth and I loved marketing, and I loved being able to get massive awareness for something. So when I went into crypto, I decided to go into crypto, and I decided to go into growth in crypto and really understand and become a master of what it takes to grow a crypto project and grow a crypto token. In this example, I might really want to get awareness and love to market for pet-based brands. And therefore, I'm going to look to come across as maybe a social media marketer or a growth consultant or a various role within this field specifically for pet companies. So you niche down into something very specific and you make that your expertise, right? So in this step, you might need to learn the ins and outs of social media marketing or design or no-code apps, so you can develop stuff and build websites and do all of this sort of stuff. And then obviously, secondly, you want to become the expert within that specific industry. Your second step here is going to be going out there once you've learned how to do what it is that you want to do and apply it to specific applications and specific companies. So for me, when I was going into crypto, I had various friends that were launching projects at the time that I knew through meeting them in Discord servers, Telegram chats, being on X, on social media. I said to these guys, look, I've been learning how to grow crypto projects and how to market crypto projects. Do you need any help? I don't need paying, right? And they were like, yeah, sure. So I was jumping in and I was growing communities for these projects. I was doing different growth stuff, building growth strategies, giving them away for free. And it helped me build up a case study log essentially of, okay, well, I worked on this one, and this project. So then when I had enough of a foundation, I could then go to companies and say, this is what I do. This is all the work that I've done. Pay me to come and consult on your business or do freelance marketing-based services for your business. So in the pet example, you would go out to different pet companies. You can hit them on LinkedIn, for example, and just be like, hey guys, I'm a specific social media manager for the pet industry, and I'd love to design a free strategy for you guys and help you implement it. Are you interested? So you just give something away for free. And by doing this, you're also going to increase your skill set because you're going to be able to practically apply your skills to the industry that you're looking to work in. So this is the first step. You want to learn the skill set, you want to implement it in your niche, and you want to get your kind of case study proof. Nothing has to be more difficult than that. I actually have a friend right now who I've known for a few years now, and she's super smart. She's been working at a pretty big company, and I've encouraged her to take what she does and go and basically follow this path. And she's already built up 5 or 6 amazing case studies of big companies that she's worked with. And now she's ready for this next step. And that next step is what I'm going to explain right now. So this next step, I think we're on step number 3 now, is to go and get real business. So you need a very simple marketing and sales plan here. I don't think it needs to be more difficult than, number 1, networking. So if you're in the pet industry, go to pet exhibitions and start meeting people in the industry. For me, it was going to crypto conferences and meeting people. Step 2, having a really good outreach strategy. So using the likes of LinkedIn to target people that work at different companies, C-suite level, and trying to give them some free value up front and get them on a call so that you can meet them. And through this, you're going to develop your own sales skills to be able to sell your services. And there is a whole video that I could create on how to do this. But the point is, you need to get out there. You need to start speaking to people and let them know your skill set. When you talk to them, really show them that you're passionate about this and you know what you're talking about, and then tell them about all the work that you've been doing for these projects that you've built case studies for. That next step is going out to people. And through this, you should be able to develop your first 1 or 2 or maybe 3 consulting or freelance gigs. So if you're charging a couple $1,000s, you could be at your 5 to 10K a month mark simply by just following the plan that I've gone through. But you really need to dial in that sales and marketing strategy, keep at it, because there will be hundreds, if not thousands of companies that need your skill set. And you have the credibility now and the skill set to go and provide value to that business. And that's what you got to go and do. So that's how you get to your first kind of $5,000 to $10,000 a month. It's just you still at this point doing all of this. You might want to hire a freelancer to do all of the outreach on LinkedIn, email, phoning people. It might cost you $400 or $500 a month where they're doing that all for you, and then you're just taking the calls and closing the deals. So that's step 3. Step 4 is rinse and repeat. Continue doing this. Continue building up your clients until you get to a point where you can no longer serve all of the work that you have coming in. It's that simple. When you get to a point where you've got 4 or 5 different projects on and you're like crazy busy, you need to scale. And by doing this, you start to hire other people, and all you do is you teach them how you learn to do what you do. That's it. If I was you, and what helped me massively is finding really smart individuals that maybe just come out of university, wanted to explore a bit of a different path than going into that kind of traditional rat race, bringing them in underneath you, training them, giving them the right skill set, and then essentially starting to offload your work onto them. Alternatively, you could just go straight and hire people that already have 3, 4, 5 years experience in your field. That's also a very logical decision. So it's up to you, and it really depends on your position. But this is the next point. When you get too much work that you can handle, you start bringing people in. And at this point, you're basically scaling from a one-man band into a consultancy or an agency. So now all of a sudden, you have maybe one other person, and then you continue to rinse, repeat. You continue refining your sales and marketing engine, bringing more business in, conducting more good work, building your brand, your credibility in the industry, becoming well-known, continuing to network in the space, and continuing to hire individuals so you can complete more work. You might want to start getting SOPs in place, so processes on how you deliver work, refining your services, whatever it might be. This is fun. This is really fun. Actually working out how you can provide the most value to a client with the least possible effort. And sometimes you'll find that you can provide more value by doing less. But anyway, this stage is all about obviously hiring people and starting to scale. And then we have stage 5, which is doing this again and again. So you keep building that sales and marketing engine, you keep hiring more people, which is enabling you to increase your output. Then you can start being at 40, 50, 60K dollars, pounds, whatever it is a month in revenue. And if you have this sort of model, ideally you should have at least a 30, 40% profit margin coming through based on what you're paying your team and the work that you're getting in, what you're spending on sales and marketing, things like this. And you just start to scale that engine. And you'll start scaling this up, and it wouldn't be a surprise where within 12 months you get to a point where you're doing 100K a month. Would not be a surprise. Trust me, take my word for it, very doable. So you start getting to 100K a month, and you're maintaining maybe a 30, 40% profit margin. At this point, you might be not conducting client work anymore. You might just be managing your team that are doing the execution, and you're just overseeing it. So you're running this business now, and you're making $30,000, $40,000 a month. Over a year, this is what, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 that you're making on a yearly basis. Now, if you keep that consistent over a 12-month period, or let's say 24 months, you made your first $1 million, just like that. That's how you made it. On top of that, if you have, say, 12 months of building this business, it's sustainable, you're constantly doing, let's say you're doing 50K a month and you're making 20K a month, so you're making 240K a year, then your business is going to be valued at over $1 million anyway. You've built something that someone would want to come and acquire. It serves a specific niche. You're a credible service provider. You have a lot of track history and record, and you're a profitable business. And EBITDA, which is pretty much a multiple of your profit, is how a lot of companies get valued. And again, it's all situation by situation basis, but it's normally between 5 to maybe 9 times what your profit is. If you're making 20K a month over a year, $240,000 a year, you times it out by the lowest multiple of 5, you're at over $1 million. Your company's worth over $1 million. And that is an asset that someone, if you build it this way, you can come in and actually buy and continue to run because you've handed off your work to your staff. You've put all of the value into the brand. You have a solid sales and marketing engine. It's a good asset for someone to come and buy and maybe keep for 10 years. It scales up a little bit. They might make a few $1 million out of it as well. So yeah, I guess if I was to start over, I would do the exact same thing again. Pick something you're passionate about. Learn a skill set that you enjoy doing. Start doing it for free to build up your case study and your testimonials. Start having a little sales and marketing engine going, networking in the industry, bringing in some paid clients. Scaling that up to where you're too busy, you bring other people in. Scaling that up again where you take yourself out of the picture of delivering work on a day-to-day basis and you get your team to do it. Then scaling up the sales and marketing engine along with that, building a lot of value into that brand. And then you can either sit there and just watch the business run on autopilot and earn a couple $100,000 a year. Or what you can do is sell that as an asset to someone for a couple of $1 million. The choice is yours. And I know that I've made this sound super simple, but I really think it is. And from someone who's done this, I can tell you that it really is that simple. When I was younger, I overcomplicated things massively. And I wanted to try and build this big platform that everyone would just come and use. And with the basis of how many users we have and going kind of B2C, and that's the big point here, actually. Going B2C, so going directly to consumer, in my opinion, is a much harder business to start. Going B2B, you only need those 1, 2, 3, 4 clients, and all of a sudden you're earning very well and you're building a valuable asset. When I was younger, I always used to go down the B2C route, try and build something for consumers. You might need 100, 200, 1,000 clients to start making serious money through that model in comparison to B2B. So it is as simple as I've made it sound. And if you're working a job now, you can start step 1 and 2 and so on alongside your current job. You can decide what it is you're going to do, set up your brand, start doing some work on the side for clients, building up your case studies. And when you get to the point where people start actively paying you and it replaces your full-time income, you can go full charge on this business and start scaling it up yourself. So it's also a business that you can kind of start without having to sacrifice your current income and what you're currently trying to push. So yeah, that's the video. And I always want to help people escape the rat race and move forward. And although my channel is about crypto, the business side of crypto, launching and growing projects, my DMs on socials are always open for people that want to or have questions about this or want to expand on this more. This kind of is more of a one-off video against like the grain of my normal type of content. But if you like this sort of stuff, let me know in the comments and I can do more of this content to help people try and progress into taking control of their lives, taking control of their income and moving forward. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully I'll see you in another video like this very, very soon.